Hi, this is Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles. And if you watched my last video, I explained I would be doing a very basic tutorial showing how to do an ornament from beginning to end so that I didn't have to do that on every video I do. I could just show you my new ornament, I could show you the materials, and if I did anything special I could show that. So let's start. And you want some felt. This is just a simple felt from Hobby Lobby, 33 cents, although I think I got these on sale for 20 cents. A cookie cutter, any shape you want, and a nice ink pad. And then what I do is I stamp the cookie cutter, and if it's a big cookie cutter you just do little bits. You stamp the cookie cutter, and then I try to conserve my felt as much as I can, so I try to start in the corner. And if you notice, I have another piece underneath because it kind of helps cushion it as you stamp. I take the lid of the stamp pad and I use it to press down evenly all over the stamp. And then you got your nice imprint. And you need 2 per ornament. So you're going to stamp another one. And if I'm doing this without a camera between me, I really get them close. But today I'm just doing them so you can see. And if you're just starting out, you might want a little space between them because it helps you to get the scissors. Now I have 3 scissors that I use when I do beads. I have some embroidery scissors, and I have some detail scissors, and some that are kind of in between. I find these work the best, the detail scissors. And so I first rough cut the pieces. And so I will cut, wasting as much as I can, avoid wasting. And I'll just kind of rough cut around them, because it's really hard to cut when you've got that heavy felt pulling on you. So you want to get as close to the piece as you can, and then I'll cut them apart. And then you're going to slowly cut around. I'm going to slowly cut around the piece. If a little black shows, it's okay. You can remove it if you want, but for the most part it'll be covered. And if you cut as close to the line as you can, sometimes you can cut it completely off. It will also wash out. If you really are concerned, you can take a little water, and then you just have to let the felt dry before you use it. But I have done that. But in most cases it's fine. So you're just going to cut out both of your pieces like that. And then I'm going to show you the rest of the process. I took all the old ornaments from all my different projects to show you all these different steps. Now, the first step, of course, is you take, and I can use this heart or I can use the heart I just cut out, and you get a needle. I use a size 10 is my preferred needle. This brand is what I happen to be using. I've used them a lot, but any size 10, simply because the hole is a little bigger and easier for my almost 60-year-old eyes to see. And then you take your felt and you pick where you want to start. There's really no right or wrong. Anywhere you want to start is fine. And you're going to tie a knot at the end, and you're going to tie a substantial knot. Felt is a very porous fabric. You want to make sure the knot will not pull through. But just to ensure that, I go in, I pull it, and I go right back through, leaving a little bit of line. If I'm going to cover the whole thing, you'll never see it. And then you come back up next to the first stitch. That will hold it and keep it from pulling through. And you can cut the little tail off. Okay. And then you're going to put a sequin on. Now I use cupped, let me get this in camera. I use cupped sequins. Now cupped sequins literally are a cupped sequin. They have a little cup to them, so if you put them upside down, they're kind of like this. So you're going to put it upside down and pick it up upside down, and let me show you why. You'll see why, and it'll make sense to you. So you turn it over and you pick it up so the cup is facing up. That way, or it's facing down on the table but up on the thread. That way it's facing up so it's sparkly. Now some people use them face down. I tend to think they're more sparkly, and sometimes the finish is different on the back considering whatever sequin. Now these are clear. They're going to be pretty much the same, but I've had some of the opaque ones where the back doesn't look as nice. And you take a seed bead Now you're going to pull the seed bead down on top of the sequin, and you can pick them up at the same time. Now you're going to move the seed bead out of the way, and you're going to go right through that sequin. And then what's going to happen is that little seed bead will hold it in place. Now you're going to go as close as you can to that one for your next stitch, and you're just going to keep doing that. Now I prefer to go around the entire, oops, I just made a mess. Go around the entire edge first, and I'll tell you why. If you go around the edge first, and I tuck them in and I kind of pull them as close as I can. I don't know if you can see that. My hands, big old hands in the way. Okay, I pull them as close together as I can, and then I go through. And I let that seed bead hold it on. Oh, look it, I didn't put a seed bead on that one. That's funny. That will happen to you, I guarantee, at least once per project. Let me do it again and show you. Then we'll move to step 2. So you're going to go around, we're going to go around the edge. And the reason you go around the edge is because nothing's worse than doing a whole piece, getting down to one side, and you either have too much felt left or not, and so after you put a row of sequins, you're going to have an edge showing, or worse yet, you're going to be sticking over the edge. So if you do the whole edge first and then fill in, the worst thing that happens is you come up between the middle of 3 or 4 sequins, and you can layer them on top if you see a little felt poking through. Won't hurt it. After you've done that, you got to sew it together. So you're going to take your 2 pieces like this. You're going to line them up as well as you can. And then you're going to take your needle and you're going to tuck it in between the fabric. You're going to tuck it in between like this, so that you go in and your knot's going to be like in the middle of the sandwich there. Okay? Then you're going to go to the back and come back through right around the same place. Now please make sure you do not come up through the sequin. Let me see if I can make sure that's light enough for you. You want to come up behind or between the sequins. If you come through the hole of the sequin, then the thread will lay over the sequin when you're done. Let me get this. Now you're going to pull that loop, and that's going to secure it for you. Now you're going to put 3 seed beads on. So you're going to put 3 seed beads on your thread, on your needle. This is hard to do from behind a camera. And you're going to go back through like you just did with the loop and pull it. Now once you've pulled it, you see the 3? You're going to go up to the last one. That'll make a triangle. Okay? Now it might look funky. Don't worry about that. And I always pull it a couple times to get those 2 first beads as close together as possible. But it's going to be a little sideways. You'll fix that at the end. Then you're going to only pick up 2 from then on. It'll only take you 2 seed beads to keep making your little triangles. And again, don't go through the seed. If you see it come up through the sequin, come back out and try it again. And then you add 2, and that's when your triangles will start to straighten up. See? And you're going to do that all the way around your piece until you get to the other side. Now, when you get all the way around and you've just got one more stitch left, like in this little angel here. Oh, hold on, I've got a magnet on there. Okay, so you've got 1 stitch left. You've gone all the way around. And now that's when you take and you put 1 seed bead on your needle. Because what you're going to do is, if you notice, you've got your first bead right here. That's kind of crooked like I warned you. And you got your last bead right there. You're going to come out of the last bead and go down through the first bead. You're going to have to pull it around. It's a little tricky. Pull it around so that you can go straight through and into the back of the felt. Right there. And then what that'll do is make your last little triangle. Okay? I don't know what that thread was. Now once you make your last little triangle, you're just going to take and you're going to make a knot. You can knot it or just go around it. Go around and just go around 2 or 3 times, one direction. And this happens a lot, so I warn you. This happens a lot. It catches. So if you can catch it before you manage to do that, it's better. But if you don't, just get your needle, catch the thread, and pull it back over. Okay. Once you've gone 3 or 4 times one direction, then you're going to go the other direction. And then once you've done that 2 or 3 times, you just cut it off. I have never put glue, and I've never had one unravel, but if it made you feel better, you absolutely could do that. Now the next step is the loop. You're going to put a loop on, and this is how you start your loop. You're going to take a needle and thread in the color you want to do. And by the way, you're going to use a beading needle. I think I told you, you're going to use size 10, and then you're going to use beading thread. Now beading thread comes in these little spools or in these little spools, which you can buy these in black and white at Hobby Lobby. You can get bigger spools like this. You might also be able to get this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And you can go all the way up to giant spools like this, which are more money, but literally last you for a lifetime. So once you get your color and your thread, you're going to figure out by kind of balancing it like this. I'm going to hook it through the beads and see how it hangs. When I like it, then I'm going to come in the back and I'm going to go into the felt and come out through one of the bottom seed beads. I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to start adding the seed beads until I have, and you're just going to pull them down till you have as long as you want. And I do about 5 to 6 inches. Okay? And you're just going to add the neat threads. Now when you get all of them on, so here you go. Let me get I've got like three steps in a row here, so let me get it untangled. Okay. When you get them all on, like this, you've got your 5 or 6 inches. You're going to find the seed bead next to the one you came up, and you're going to go back down through that one, pull it, and you're going to do that same knotting technique I showed you earlier. And then when you're done, just tie it off, and that'll give you your loop. Now if you want to do a clasp, because I do clasps on my angels, because a lot of people like to hang them in their car mirror, on their car mirror. So what I do is I go through, I put on a row of seed beads, I go through this hole, I go around it twice, and then go back through all the beads, and I tie it off right there. Then I take and go on the other side, and let me find this where I go on the other side. Hold on, it's tangled. I'm telling you, this thread and these seed beads will drive you crazy sometimes. Okay, now I already got it prepared to show you how you do the other side. So you do the same thing. You string on enough beads to equal the first side. See? And you're just tying a knot like you did to do a normal loop, and you're going all the way up. And then you're going to keep the whole clasp on there. You're going to go through the loop twice, and this is what I mean by go through the loop twice. You're going to go through, and then you're going to go back up through, and that holds it tight. Then you're going to go through all the seed beads very carefully, and you're going to go back through all of them. Go slowly, because you will find if you don't go slowly, you'll look and there'll be thread showing because you went over a bead. So once you go all the way back through all of them, you're going to knot it off like I did on the regular loop. It's that simple. The only difference between this loop and this is you don't go back through the beads on this one. This one you go through the beads once. This one you have to go back through the beads a second time to clasp it. Now, there's another stitch I can show you really fast because this is already a 14-minute video. And that's just if you want to do this, but you want a single, you don't want as fancy of an edge, you can just start the same way you started, but just put one seed bead on. And then just add one seed bead at a time, do this. and just add one at a time all the way around, and it would just be the same for the last bead. You just maybe go through the first one and then tie it off, and that just gives you a flatter, you know, if you don't want the blingy, sparkly triangle, you just do this. You can go back through every time and then just back up the one. It's hard to see. Back up one seed bead. And then that will give you a totally different, see, it's more flat. It's simpler. You'll see it from the other side, but it gives it a different look than the triangle. But anyway, that's your basic tutorial. I will do another video where I talk more in depth about threads and needles if you want. But I wanted to show you just a basic tutorial so that I can link this to every ornament I show you. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I can address them. But if I do any special stitches or special things on any new ornaments, I will show that. But this is your basic tutorial that I will be linking to every ornament video. That way you don't have to watch it every time. Thank you so much. Bye.